What's up, my punks? Kane the Circle here. So you guys probably have seen Labb's video of a similar nature that was posted on her channel, and I was gonna make a video right around that same time, but this video ended up getting delayed as I was in the middle of editing this video. I realized a lot of the things that I said were not in the best format. I definitely should have worded things a lot better, and I realized a lot of things I said could have been misconstrued. So I decided to go back on the script, and I procrastinated on it because writing scripts is not my favorite thing to do in the world, but it is very helpful for me, and I think it's very helpful for my viewers. So I ended up scrapping the video until I was able to fix it. I think everything looks okay now. I don't think anything I said could be misconstrued, but if you are a little bit, if you guys think you need a bit more context as to what I'm saying, or if you're looking for me to explain my points a little bit better, I am willing to do that. So just a little heads up before we get into the video. So a recent tweet of mine went viral on the good old Bluebird app with a ton of responses with always the good, the bad, and the idiocy. To quote said tweet, "The furry fandom has a serious problem of minors sexualizing themselves, and it needs to stop. While a lot of people were quick to remind me this isn't just a fandom-based issue, which it isn't by the way, the fandom seems to do so little about it because we label the community as sex-positive, which is a good thing, but honestly sometimes we step over the line into minors endangering themselves and others trying to normalize paraphilias, and something really needs to be done." First off, let's start off with something that I've already said previously in the intro. I just want to elaborate on it just a little bit further. Of course, minors sexualizing themselves is not just a furry fandom-based issue. Kids now grow up in a world where there's a lot of influencers wearing very revealing clothing as a way of empowerment, and I can definitely understand that idea. The problem is having this when they have an audience of kids is concerning, especially younger teenagers around ages 13 to 15. Kids are very easily influenced and persuaded. Hell, there are even laws involved with advertisements. Ryan's Toys Reviews got slammed for it back in 2019 with promoting unhealthy products to an audience of children of said age who could not comprehend between regular content and an advertisement. It's also a reason why a parent or guardian is responsible for any major decision in a child's life up until the age of 18, for that said reason. Which leads me into the topic of a few furry YouTubers who use overly horny thumbnails when they have an audience of minors. Yeah, even just saying that makes it all the more concerning. I have no idea why some YouTubers think that this is okay. I'm not saying they don't have the freedom to make what they want to make. They have that decision. Spicy thumbnails are what bring in the views, right? But you also gotta remember, as a responsible content creator, are not things to put on your videos knowing your audience. You gotta be careful with what you're putting out there. Like, it is a very questionable thing to be doing, and so many furries have voiced their opinions on this a multitude of times. Sex positivity in the fandom is a good thing, right? I am not at all saying that this is a bad thing, but the problem is that there's really no barrier between adult and kid spaces in the furry fandom, and that causes like an interlink. And, you know, the adult things are adult things for a reason. There's a reason why kids shouldn't be involved in this shit. When your audience is made up of kids, keep out the horny thumbnails. Keep out the cropped GIF thumbnails. Think of neutral topics that can be enjoyed by all ages. If you want to make more adult content, put in a few age-restricted settings, or make a separate channel for that sort of content rather than on main. Have a Patreon. There is plenty of other options out there. Kids do not handle these types of things with maturity, you know. They're kids. They don't know any better. They want to see more adult and mature. Why do you think 8-year-olds cry when their mom can't buy them new GTA? The problem is that they could be putting themselves in danger by those who unfortunately don't know these boundaries. What they wear or how they are feeling is not the problem. Them wearing it in front of or talking about these feelings to an anonymous public audience who could see it and sexualize them, or worse, go into their DMs with the intent of grooming minors for more explicit pictures. I think all my viewers are aware, cause y'all are lovely, that any sort of clothing is not consent, nor should it be. Y'all should be free to wear what you want without some low-life degenerate thinking you want to pursue any sexual activity with them. The problem is putting this online where these creeps can be anonymous, where you may be overwhelmed when this does happen, or possibly cannot read the signs of when someone is trying to take advantage of you. When in doubt, don't post. Adults are saying this because we don't want to see kids in our community getting groomed, as it's such a sad sight to see. minors who've had their childhood sacrificed to those who have taken advantage of them. It's truly sickening. This also applies to horny posts too. Don't post things like, you can have this bottom, ooh, on your Twitter when you're a minor, for same reasons as I've said previously. The common response I see from minors when things like this are said is, why can't we be horny? It's so gross. It's the fact that it's public that's the issue. Literally anyone can see it, including those who don't want to and shouldn't see it. You don't need to publicize it online. Seriously, you don't. Keep it to yourself. It will not kill you. You'll be fine. Hell, when you're 18, you can just make an AD account. Hell, that's what I did, and plenty of my other friends have done. But keep in mind, when you are 18, not when you are a child. I have to specify that. We're just trying to look out for you. It isn't us trying to be party poopers. We just want to help the best way we can, which is through guidance and education. So pedophiles are not the only thing that we should be worried about too. Zoophiles are also an issue when it comes to grooming. This time with indoctrination into believing animals can consent. Yeah, no. They befriend these kids who may be having a rough time at school, family, whatever the issue may be, providing them with a safe space, which anyone would want that. Unfortunately, some may not be able to see the ulterior motive behind these interactions. That would be indoctrination into zoophilia, making them think that this is okay. These people have a positive view of someone else, so their first thought initially would be, this person wouldn't lie to me, they care about me, and they wouldn't want to put me in any danger, right? They wouldn't do bad things, so maybe what they're saying is true. And they end up being indoctrinated into a group of unhinged degenerates, using whatever manipulation tactic they can find to keep those in check. And they'll go after some of the easier targets, and unfortunately, those are children. And it's honestly so fucking sad to see. Listen, alright. You cannot fuck Fido. Animals cannot consent, it's a fact. Plenty of studies show that animals are not on the same level of human intelligence or know the concept of consent. Hell, my dog barely knows the word no, or she just chooses to ignore it. Zoos are not to be trusted, and you should stay away from them as far as possible. If you happen to be a victim of grooming of any sort, whether it be from a zoophile or a pedophile, please seek help. This isn't in any way trying to be patronizing. You deserve to live happy and learn ways to cope better with the trauma from said events you could be suffering from, and most importantly, you deserve to be listened to. It is not your fault. Which leads into my next point. Conventions. Listen up. There have been known people who have been attending conventions who have been convicted pedophiles or have been outed to be god-awful people. Outrage across platforms have gotten some cons' attention, and some cons have decided to ignore the outrage. Convention chairmans, do better. If you happen to know a furry attending a convention with this sort of activity, their attendance could lead to another furry having a bad experience, or even worse. Growly, a known person in the fandom for taking advantage of a 14-year-old in 2001, and again years later, and being arrested in 2019 for possession of CP, is still able to attend some conventions, and I have to ask, why? This guy has no sign of change whatsoever, and is allowed to roam our convention floors, putting those vulnerable at risk. It's honestly revolting that some cons have not taken action. Hell, even putting some of these furries on a pedestal with giving Glitch a panel at Denver. Glitch, who has had inappropriate conversations with a minor back in 2019. I will have a video in the description with the story in further detail if y'all want more information, because it wasn't covered very much, and a lot of furries have decided to sweep it under the rug. It should be common sense, and something that shouldn't have to be said, but unfortunately, some voices are just not loud enough. And I think that about covers everything I've wanted to talk about. Unfortunately, it's not a very happy video. But I just really wanted to talk about it because not a lot of furries talk about it, especially with the minors in our fandom. Like, we definitely talk about a lot of, like, advice for young furries and stuff, but when it comes to these types of situations, not a lot of furry YouTubers talk about it, and I think it's because they think it's common sense. Hey, don't do this, but it still happens. It's obviously not common sense enough. That's something I've learned a lot in working in retail. Some people don't have common sense, and it's actually hurts. But I don't know. I felt like it was important, and I feel like with my tweet going pretty viral, I feel like it definitely needed to be said, and hell, that's why I was like, hey, let's make a video about it, which is why I wanted it to be important and actually make sure what I'm saying is okay. So yeah, that's really all I have for this video, but sorry, it was very much of a downer. It wasn't a very happy video, but hopefully I'll get back onto that with more fun videos in the future, and I'll see you guys in the next one.